Now, Iceland Food has announced its public support for the Feed the Future campaign, being coordinated by the Food Foundation, which calls for all children from families on universal credit to immediately become eligible for free school meals.
Richard Walker, the managing director of Iceland Food, said as the cost of living crisis continues to worsen, families are increasingly concerned about keeping food on the table. By widening the criteria for free school meals eligibility, we can relieve the burden of stress that so many parents are experiencing.
Oh, delighted to say that Richard joins us now. Richard, thank you for giving up your time to speak to us this morning. Just on this campaign, I mean, obviously we're reading in all the papers about how the government's got to live within its means, it's going to have to cut spending, it's going to have to scale things back. Is it really wise to say that nobody who receives any universal credit can afford to feed their own children?
Well, look, we're a barometer of Britain, I guess, because we've got 1,000 stores on every high street serving 5 million customers. Many of those are really struggling. And what we're seeing, what we're hearing from our colleagues, from our customers, is that things are getting much, much tougher. I think as a return on investment, it's a fantastic thing to invest in our kids, and if those kids are going hungry in school, unable to concentrate, that in turn will have knock-on consequences. I can't think of any better investment than actually making sure our kids are engaged at school, happy, healthy, and not going hungry.
Richard, I mean, picking up on Philip's point there, it does go to a much, much bigger question. So we've already got 1.9 million children entitled to free school meals. That's 22.5% of children, and it also includes your year 1 and 2. So is this now an extension of the role of the state, that they're going to be in charge of more children and feeding children than ever before? Is that sort of the journey that you're on?
Look, I think we need to take a step back and realise the severity of the cost of living crisis that we're already in, but also how tough things are going to get into winter. So we've got fuel inflation, we've got heating energy inflation, and we've got food inflation, which I know only too well about. We're seeing the prices of food go up at shelf, and actually there's much worse to come. There are cost price increases at the moment from suppliers that we haven't even stomached as a business, let alone inevitably have to pass some of that on to our customers. So we can see all of these staples going up. Now, of course, there's going to be rising interest rates and therefore knock-on consequences to mortgages. So I just think times are really, really tough. And if the government can't support the most vulnerable during this moment, then I wonder where some of their other priorities are. And I just think this would be a really good investment. Obviously, Rishi has rightly made education a key kind of north star of his government, and this for me forms a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think, you're absolutely right. It's going to be difficult for people for all of the reasons you've said, whether it's people's mortgage, whether it's food going up, whether it's energy going up. I just wonder, where is the best bit then of government intervention in maybe the fuel, maybe into other things, but taking responsibility of children. You might say there are other ways to do it rather than sort of going that way forward, and there could be another way to do it. But I want to look, because you spot on, you do know about food inflation. What are the, I don't know, the best things to buy at the moment if you were to go there, if you wanted to feed a family of 4 in your shop? What are the best things, and what are the things to stay away from?
Well, look, we are a value-orientated food retailer, so we try and sell the best quality food at the cheapest prices. We're seeing our luxury ranges do very well now because people are trading down from more expensive supermarkets, and that's an entry price point for them. So that's interesting. But also we've committed at the other end of the spectrum to holding the price of our £1 ready meal lines at least to the end of this year. But we've actually introduced over 50 new £1 lines as well. We even earlier this week had a 1p sale of certain ready meals online. So we're trying to do whatever we can, whether that's £10 off 30 vouchers or giving away £30 vouchers to the most vulnerable pensioners in need, giving a discount of 10% to anyone over the age of 60 every Tuesday has proved wildly popular for millions of people. And I think you're right, it's not all on government to solve these problems. People have to take individual responsibility and accountability, but also the private sector needs to do what they can. And I think particularly our business, considering the demographics we serve, the customers we have, it's incumbent on us to do what we can through a range of initiatives.
And you probably have got the ability to help other people, because at the time, I think it was the business rate relief that other shops gave back, whether it was Lidl, whether it was Aldi, whether it was Tesco, Asda, or what have you. Iceland didn't at the time. So you've got, as it might be, a surplus where you can help people.
Well, we lost profit last year and we will do this year. I know there was a lot of heat at the time, maybe even including from yourself, Esther.
I ran the campaign and we got 2 billion back from every other shops, but you chose not to hand back your 40 million.
No, we kept hold of it. And actually, I hope we've been vindicated in doing so. Since then, we had a third lockdown. We've had a war in Ukraine. Now we've got a cost of living crisis. We're not profiteering. Our profits didn't go up. They went backwards and are now negative. So this is about securing the best possible outcome for 5 million customers. But also, I've got 30,000 colleagues that rely on us for a paycheck every week. We didn't put a single person on furlough, which kind of amounts to the same thing, taking government money to prop up your business. So we invested in our business. We've created jobs. We've kept ourselves stable. And we've come out of it the other side. And, you know, Lord knows we've certainly got a lot of challenges ahead. Interestingly, when the second round of rate relief was offered to us, we declined it because we didn't need it.
Richard Walker, thank you very much for joining us, and I'm sure our viewers will want you to make sure you keep those prices as low as possible. So thank you very much for that.